A good evening. Do not attempt to adjust your radio.
You're listening to If the Streets Could Speak.
My city has a lot of faces. Some can be found in forgotten places, comfortably sound with a lot of graces. The sun could be down on his hungry town, but in London he found him a shot of greatness. My city has a lot of faces.
Must I really glorify a drug before you want to get to know me? I'm sorry, I can't down cups of codeine and get fucked till I'm OD'd, but I'm OD'd. Overly dedicated to a pipe dream, and a pipe seems like it might just distract me from what might be. Must I really talk about me dying before you stop to listen? Would my story be more interesting without a pot to piss in? They all say what they want, but then the truth just comes up missing, and I'm tired of changing myself for an idealistic vision.
In the Inuit dialect of the Nunavik region of Canada, there are 53 words for snow. In British Sign Language, there are 3 words for lonely. In English, there is 1 word for rape in all its genres. When I said you were nice, I meant it. At the classes for women who have forgotten how to be human, we learned not to put too much pressure on words, not to overthink, not to read so deep between the lines as to start writing our own. On the number 63 bus home, I read the billboards along the Old Kent Road, and I think the problem with humans is they don't always say what they mean. Someone once told me you can't write poetry in sign language. The language is too limited, and I said, a language is limited only in translation. I can turn a storm into a breeze or a tempest with my 2 hands. What can your hands do?
We want what we want, and what's more, we deserve it. So we run around panicking, nervous, thinking, wait, could this be the one, man? They're perfect. A couple years later, you're chained to the circuit, breaking them down as if you're determined to waste what you've found. So what's true about you? Is it the thing that you claim to be true, or is it deeper, lurking in places that you don't dare to journey to, faced with a new way of seeing it? Are you the type to accept, or the type to clench fists and reject? Whose truth even counts? Is it the person who doubts?
It was hard to look at him and hard to look away. The desperation in his eyes made me cry, and in there too was surprise, as though he never intended to live for this long. The walls were too white and too clean for this bleak scene of survival, heavy with healing. I will never forget your faith. Scary and grotesque, like a joke, like someone who jumps out at you on a fairground ride.
It's not your fault. It's the fault of a culture that feeds on a rigid hierarchical structure, telling you, the consumer, that every other has more choice. Choices, your preferences, your choices, your purchases, your food and your furnishings, the clothes you consume and dispose of. A human who knows not of life as survival.
Because Pitfield Street, they all use it as the clubs. People like to be out on the night, saying they should. Yeah, they have it like every second starts right from catching.
That's how Londoners are from time to time, only got the time to grind and whine. Constantly standing on the brink of history, watching newsreaders linking mystery. Even though a few reporters taught us to be cautious because they stink of this disease called inconsistency, see, my city has a lot of faces.